do is make my dog embed. So I'm going to use the embed mould that I sell in the shop, and of course I'll put a link to it in the description below. Now I've got quite a bit of oil here. This embed mould takes about 225 grams of oil. I've got more than that here because I'm actually making a number of these soaps because I've got a big show coming up, and I'm making 3 of these embeds at the same time, but I'm only going to go over one of them on the video because I can't imagine you need to see me filling up 3 embed moulds. So that's why I've got too much oil for this mould. Right, let's just get this blended up. Okay, so I think that's pretty well just to an emulsified state. And I'm going to pop my fragrance oil straight into all of this. I don't normally do that, but I just need to split this in 2 colours, and I do want it to actually thicken up a little bit. Now, the fragrance oil I'm using is sweet orange chili pepper from Nature's Garden. Now, it's probably one that you think, well, how does that go with a dog soap? It's one of those things that the soap is just a scene, and I couldn't really think of a particular fragrance that I wanted in that scene, but what I knew is that I did want it to be much more of a unisex soap. So for me, something like this sweet orange chili pepper is very appealing to men and women. I didn't want to go for a floral or anything, so that's why I've chosen this one. So I'm just going to pop all that in. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to split my batter off, and I'm going to have 60% of it as black and 40% of it as white. So I'm just going to colour those with titanium dioxide and activated charcoal. So I've done these and split them up, 60% black, 40% white. And I've just dropped my titanium dioxide in there. Now I just stir my titanium dioxide in because of the way I pre-disperse it. Now if you've not seen my video on how to pre-disperse your titanium dioxide, if you get speckles in your soap with TD, then have a look at that video. I'll link it in the description below. Okay, and the same with my activated charcoal. Just get that mixed in. I pre-disperse that as well. I pre-disperse all of my colours. So let's just get that mixed in nicely. Okay, now just before that gets too thick, what I want to do first of all is I want my collie to have little black ears. So I'm just going to take some of this batter while it's fluid and just drop it into the ear section of the mould. And then I'm just going to take a small amount of this white, just a very small bit, and blend that up because I want most of this to stay nice and fluid. I'm just going to use my little mini blender. Okay, so I've got that to a sort of medium type trace, and what I want to do is I'm just going to pop that into the muzzle section of the dog mould. So our little collie has a nice white muzzle, and I'm hoping that that ear, because I did it nice and thick, has set up so I can get this white in. So I've been through and filled all the little noses up. Let me just show you. So can you see I've got that side I filled in the ear with black and then a little white nose. Now it's a bit messy with white down the front there, but that's fine. I haven't worried about cleaning that off because the front of my dog is going to be white anyway, so I didn't bother with that. So what I now want to do is the rest of the head needs to be black. So I'm going to go back to my black and start adding that in. That's sort of a nice consistency at the moment because it is thick, but can you see how it's still nice and easy to move and play with and mould? So that's just perfect. So now I'm going to just drop this in, and I just need to try not to disturb the little nose too much. And obviously I'm just conscious that because it's quite thick, I want to get it in there and make sure I'm not going to get any bubbles. Okay, so this is a really nice consistency. It's great when you've got a fragrance soil that behaves well, as in it's quite slow, because then what I find with those is, as you can see with this one, I blended it quite a lot, and it's pretty well staying at the consistency I blended it to, which is really nice. And sometimes that's a little bit better than working with an accelerating fragrance oil, because they can just keep on accelerating. Right, I'm going to give that a bang down. Okay, so hopefully I'm bubble free in there. And then what I'm just going to go through is I'm just going to go through and clear off the front, because I don't want any black on the front. And then once I've done that, I'm then just going to rough that surface up so that you get sort of the colours, the hairs and that, as it were, sort of sticking up a little bit. So I'm just going to do that towards the front. I'm going to put some more black in a minute anyway, but I'm just conscious of getting these heads filled in quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for the other ones. Okay, so now I've put all those little bits in for the heads, so I'm now just going to pour on some more white, because collies sort of have a ruff around their heads, around their sort of necks area. Let's just get some of that poured in, and I've done it deliberately nice and a bit fluid, so it sinks in between all of those black areas. Okay, then I'm going to go back to this black. Now that white's probably a little bit more fluid than I'd like, so I'm just going to be a bit careful as I drop this black in. And I want to sort of try and get it so I can make it look like there's some, you know, sort of mixture between the two a little bit. So I'm just doing a little bit of black first. Okay, and I'm deliberately putting it along that side of the mould, because that's going to be the back of the dog. So that's the area that is going to actually be black. And now what I'm going to hopefully do is sort of flick this around a little bit to sort of get some into the white and mix some of the white into the black. You know, because ideally I don't want a straight line between these two colours. I want to see some of the white coming up. Okay, and I'll just carry on and do that to the other two. Okay, so what I've done in there, as you can see, is I've sort of messed it all up and roughed it all up. Now the black at the top here looks quite roughed up. That wasn't what I was trying to achieve the roughing up in. I want the line between the white and the black to be a little bit roughed up. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to finish off filling that with the black and pour a little bit more white down the front, and then we'll be done with these. So they look a little bit of a mess, but that's okay, because what I want to do now is just play with that little join line and just sort of hopefully integrate them a little bit. And I as you can see, I've deliberately kept the white more fluid than the black, and that's because I've used the black to hopefully control the areas where I want the colour of black, and then I've used the white so that it can flood in between and fill all those gaps, so I don't end up with, hopefully don't end up with lots of holes. Okay, so then I'm just going to carry on with this, just because it's been a little bit of fiddling about, just level them all out, and then I'm just going to put them into C-pop for the evening.
What's it like to be the one that he turns to when he's out of answers? What's it like to be the one that he comes to when he wants to dance? And I wonder what's that like? I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name.
Oh, not sure if the audio was on there, but you probably saw what I was doing. As I was saying, I'll just quickly run through what I was saying just in case my audio wasn't on. I'm just doing a single colour green for the grass. I don't have a grass colour green in the assessment that I'm using available to me, but I do have a lime green and a blue. So I've just blended those into the oils to take my lime green into a bit of a darker shade. Okay, and now I've added in my lye and sodium lactate, and I'm just going to blend those up. Now I am going to transfer this out of this jug, because this is, not this jug, this bucket. Because this bucket is a nice size for mixing it in, but it's not a good bucket for pouring in. So I'm just going to go and decant that into something I can pour from and get my mould, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've decanted into a jug I can pour from, and I've got my embed sitting here, the dog that we made. So I'm just going to pour a small amount into the bottom, just to seat the dog into. And I'm going to do this before I put the dog in, because with the dog, I've been through and just scraped out underneath, and that's given the dog hopefully some legs. And I'm just going to sort of, this is a bit too runny for this, but I'm just hoping by seating it in the mould first, you just want to make sure that do actually get some grass right between those legs. Let's just pop that in. I'm just going to leave that just to set up a little tiny bit, because I want to put some little sheep embeds in there, and I don't want them to all sink. So I'm just going to allow that to just set up a little bit, hold the dog firmer, and then get that sort of to a consistency where it's more useful for holding embeds up. Okay, I'm hoping I'm set up enough to support my little sheep. Okay, so I've got some little cute sheep, and I've just extruded these. I might need my tweezers actually. Yes, it's still, I think that's still probably a little bit early, because that one's sinking more than I want. So I'm going to leave it for a little while longer. Right, I think I'm all right now that I can start getting this one covered up. And I'm just being very careful and breaking the fall on top of it because I don't want my batter that I'm putting on now to move the position and sort of tip my sheet upside down or anything. Yes, this is a lovely consistency now because it's going to be thick enough to support those quite small embeds, but still thin enough to flow nicely into the soap.
It happened again. I've stayed for too long and I woke up at your place again. And all this time we said this would end. Instead we completed the both of us needed more than a friend. Thought he'd be someone else, that it would take me a while. But right next to you now I'm sleeping, no rhyme or reason to that. If this is what love is, then it's worth the while. Can't get enough of this, thought of you as
And then my last sheet, I'm going to have them sort of standing on top of the grass, so I don't want them sunk in. And my very last sheep is one little black sheep, because there always tends to be one, doesn't there? One little black sheep. So I'll just pop that one in. Okay, now I'm just going to leave that to set up before I complete the sky. So let's just finish off with our sky then, shall we? So I've got some blue, which is an equal amount of titanium dioxide and shimmer blue mixed together, and then just some white for my clouds. I'm going to pour some of this into squeeze bottles just to help me with my clouds. Okay, but I am going to just start off layering just some of the blue down on its own first.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire. I don't know what I'd do without you.
So there's our little soap done, and I just finished off that white. I deliberately left some so I could do my clouds on the top. So I'm just going to leave this overnight and then we'll cut it tomorrow. So here's our soap the next day. Let's get it cut, shall we, and see how we're doing with our dog, looking after those sheep. Okay, and let's have a look at what we've got. There we go. There's our little dog and all his little sheep on the hill in the background. I do like my dog. I think he's come out really quite cute. Let's just have a look at a couple more of those. They're all going to be pretty well the same. There we go with our little sheep. Oh, little hole there in the dog. That's no problem there. Can you see? Tiny little bit. Obviously got a little bit of an air bubble in there. That's no problem. I can just patch that in. That's not a problem. All the rest of them seem funny. It's just that one obviously little air bubble that I got in that dog.
And I'll just leave you with a photo of the soap to finish off. I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks. At the moment, I'm still really busy with stuff, so I will try to get a video up every now and again, but it's not going to be every Friday, just for a little while. If you have enjoyed this video, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see what I'm doing in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy soaping!